Hello, Mr. Sulram here. Basically, we are discussing another topic that is city creation. City creation basically we are discussing another topic that is currencies. That is basically the vitamins creation. So one of the person told that this design is equal to stories. So universe group basically connects how basically. For example, they want to connect to one person's body basically. Then how they connect? Assume that basically Earth planet basically want to connect basically to one person's body basically. They how basically connects? First option basically is they basically collects his blood group energy and then basically they enters into their body basically and they do the manipulations. If they want to damage anyone's head basically like this they do basically. If they want to damage anyone's eye basically they do like this basically. For example, I will take one example. Assume that basically uh, nuclear power company or energy power company or the power company basically want to send the data of each and every blood group basically in the city basically. So how they do basically? They do this way only basically because they have the roadmap basically, and that roadmap is basically set of stories basically. For example, a blood group data basically they want to send to each and every house basically. So they how they send basically? That is through the story basically. A blood group story basically. B blood group story, C blood group story, D blood group story basically. And that blood group stories are equal to roadmaps. And from that roadmap only basically they can send the data basically. So the universe way basically is stories basically. And stories while creating story basically for example in world basically if you want to create story basically then how they creates basically. This is the only way now basically. If Earth planet, if you want to exist in Earth planet basically, if you want to exist means you want to stay in Earth planet basically, then basically money is required basically. Without money, you can't stay in Earth planet basically. So money creation basically is the base process basically. On the base of that basically, and money basically are peacefully earned, and another way is forcefully earned basically. Forcefully earned means mafia group basically earns like that money basically, and peacefully means you do the job in company, you do the job in set of group basically, you earns, you basically create the company basically and then basically you earns the money like this basically you create it basically money. So there are set of stories basically on the base of the money are created basically, and then basically the set of tasks basically they do basically on the base of that money basically, and their story basically gets connects. If anybody is not earning money basically, that means his story basically is ended in Earth planet basically, because in Earth planet basically without money you can't stay basically. In Earth planet basically, if he is not earning money basically, that means his story basically is ended basically. His story is basically ended. If he is earning money, that means his story is basically ongoing. So that is the thing basically. That is the thing basically. So one of the person told that it's very dangerous process basically, you can say it's very dangerous process basically, because I will tell basically why it's very dangerous basically. This design basically assume that basically Earth planet is ongoing with this current generation, that is basically ongoing since, assume that basically it's ongoing since 500 years basically, assume that basically, just taking as an example, assume that basically it's going since 500 years basically, or basically 600 year take basically, 600 year basically they have universe group has created around 16 energies, assume that basically 16 energy means 16 design they have created, and all 16 design are active currently basically. In 600 year basically around mostly basically 10 to 12 generation basically might have ended basically, and the 13th or 14th, 15th, 16th, 17th generation might be ongoing basically. So one of the person told that the history group basically who creates the history basically their body basically never gets end basically, but the people who peacefully die without any story, without any creation, this that basically, that person basically there is no effect of that particular person in Earth land basically, but he generates the story, then basically his effect basically gets in Earth land basically. So one of the person told that India, Vadodara city is created from set of stories basically. Vadodara land basically I'm talking about. Vadodara land is created by on the set of stories basically, and that is ongoing basically. And that is ongoing. And still the stories are getting generated and stories are ongoing. World story is created, universe design is created. So assume that 16 design basically are active in Earth planet, in universe basically of the current 600 Earth planet generation which is ongoing basically. So anything is going to affect basically? No, nothing is going to affect. Why? Because they kills each and every people basically daily, and they breaks the chain of that particular person basically. So how they are going to connect the chain basically? That is not possible, na, basically. That is not possible basically. That if any one person basically is not getting die, and then basically breaks the chain. For example, universe groups say that basically we daily kills basically each and every people basically night basically when they are sleeping basically. That time basically we finish his chain basically, which is connected to the universe design basically. Because up to that level, powerful blood cells basically are there basically. So that daily kills each and every people basically for millisecond basically. Few people basically dies in sleep only basically, because that basically they basically killed that person basically, and in that killing basically he permanently died basically. That's why basically lots of people dies in sleep only basically. Few people don't die basically. They basically gets up in the morning basically, and they again generate the story. But his chain basically is already finished, which was connected to the universe basically. Which was connected to the universe. Even you are in company basically, you are doing mall, you job in mall, you are basically doing in some courier work, you are basically doing in some catering work basically, whatever work basically you are doing, whatever things basically you are doing in job in software company, whatever company basically you are doing job in recruitment company, you are doing job in consultancy company, you are doing job in accounting company, you are doing as a working as a CEO, vice president, or developer, QA, whatever basically you are working basically, vice president, CEO, whatever post basically, big level post basically or small level post basically, you basically connects to one chain basically. Daily your body basically connects to the energy power company basically daily, because they takes the data na basically, and if they takes the data that time basically their body also gets connects to the energies basically. So one of the person told that how basically the world is ongoing here basically, because they takes daily data basically of the particular each and every person, 900 crore people basically are there, and from energy company basically and power company basically they are taking the data. Then how the world is ongoing basically? That is also one of the person basically asked the question basically, because lots of metrics might have generated in the environment na, basically. Then how the world is ongoing? One of the person basically asked the question basically. One of the person basically asked the question basically. That was actually the question basically. Then basically one of the person told that for that basically the satellite groups are there basically. They clears the data basically. Because Earth planet basically never might have tracked this also basically. That are the nuclear power company, energy company, and the power company basically. That is basically one of the person basically has given the name as a global warming basically. And some group basically might have tracked also basically, because that's why he given the name as a global warming, and this is that basically one of the part of also of the global warming basically. Data are taken by the power company, energy company, nuclear power company. They basically takes the data from each and every bodies, and then basically the chain is connected still basically. But satellite group basically breaks the chain basically by killing each and every people daily basically when they are sleeping basically. That's very dangerous basically. They kills the people basically. They daily kills. One of the person basically asked the question basically. Till now basically 103 generation basically has ended basically. 103 time world has ended basically. So when 103 time world has ended, there 103 basically blood group basically also might be exist in the each and every bodies. Then one of the person told that yes basically. So in which all body basically the data basically might be exist. So it might be exist in each and every body, or basically it might be exist in particular bodies. That basically we are going to discuss.